Welcome to Karma Chronicles. Please like the video and subscribe. Let's begin. It hit me when I was standing in line at the bank, waiting to get a cashier's check for the down payment on a commercial lot I'd been eyeing for almost a year. I'd saved every extra cent, skipped vacations, poured my bonuses and side gigs into this. And still, all I could hear in my head was my mom's voice from the night before. "That's great, honey. But did you hear Tara's doing a weekend retreat in Topanga next month?" 12 years. That's how long I'd been covering the gaps. Rent shortfalls, car repairs, surprise dental bills, even a damn holistic vet visit when Tara's rescue cat had digestive issues. I never made a big deal about it. I just handled it. That's who I was in the family. The fixer. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. My name's Ryan. I'm 30 years old and live just outside Sacramento. I run a small chain of auto repair shops. Started with one shop I bought when I was 18, worked 2 jobs until I could pay off the loan. Now I've got 3 shops, 8 full-time techs, and a waiting list of clients. But none of that seems to matter at home. My younger sister Tara is what you'd call a wellness entrepreneur, which is a fancy way of saying she stretches on Instagram for likes and sells overpriced tea online. No steady job, no health insurance, but somehow she's the one my parents talk about like she's the next big thing. She's a dreamer, they say. She just needs one big break. Meanwhile, I'm the guy they call when the fridge breaks or the mortgage is late. They don't even ask anymore. Just send a text and assume I'll handle it. Last Thanksgiving, Dad pulled me aside and said, "You're always so steady. We never have to worry about you." He meant it as a compliment, but it hit like a slap. I don't want to be steady. I want to be seen. So when I found this lot on Fulton Avenue, perfect location, good traffic, decent zoning, I made my move. I thought maybe this would shift something. Maybe this time they'd see I wasn't just the one who bailed everyone out. I was building something real. I told them at Sunday dinner. Dad barely looked up from his plate. Mom said, "That's nice, honey," then turned to Tara and asked about her latest juice cleanse. Tara launched into some nonsense about gut bacteria and ancient minerals. I sat there holding my fork, pretending it didn't matter. But it did. I signed the deal that Friday anyway. Walked into the bank, got the check, shook hands with the broker, and left with the keys. Drove straight to the lot, took pictures, sent one to the family group chat, not a single reply. So I went back to work. Sunday dinner was at my parents' place like always. Roast chicken, green beans, and Tara's gluten-free, flavor-free quinoa thing nobody asked for but we all had to pretend to like. I waited until everyone was halfway through their first plate, then set it straight. I signed a $40,000 investor deal. I'm expanding into hybrid vehicle repair, starting with the Fulton lot. My mom looked up like I'd just said I won a cruise. "Oh, wow, honey. That's big. Isn't that big, Jim?" Dad gave me a slow nod. "Yeah, nice." Tara didn't even let the silence breathe. She dropped her fork like I'd knocked it out of her hand. Must be nice having investors. You know how hard it is trying to make it on your own in wellness. There's zero support. "Here we go. I'm not just running a blog," she went on. "I'm building a brand. I've got over 12,000 followers now, but the algorithm's been brutal lately." My mom turned her whole body toward her like she was giving a TED Talk. "That's why you need to get yourself out to that retreat in Sedona. You said it was all about alignment, right?" Tara nodded dramatically. "It's $5,000 though. And I need a new camera. My lens is garbage in low light. Plus, if I had a real space to work with private clients, I could totally scale." She looked right at me when she said that. I tried to keep my voice calm. "That sounds like a lot all at once." "It's seed investment," she said, like she even knew what that meant. "Like what you just got." "That wasn't a gift," I said. "It's a business deal. I have obligations to the investor. I owe them results." My dad jumped in. "You're gonna do great. You always land on your feet. Maybe now's the time to help your sister get her start, huh?" "She's got so much potential," my mom added. "She just needs a leg up. You're fine, Rye. You always make it work." I looked around the table like maybe someone else had heard what I actually said. Nobody had. "I'm finally doing something big, and all you care about is how Tara can benefit from it." "Oh, don't be like that," Mom said, waving it off. "We're proud of you. We just think you're in a position to be generous." Tara crossed her arms. "I'm not asking for a handout. I'm asking for family to believe in me." "Believing in you and funding a retreat are 2 different things." She scoffed. "God, you're so rigid. It's always about money with you." That one hit. I bit down hard on the inside of my cheek. Didn't respond. Dad said, You said you're expanding, right? That means more income down the line. You're good. Tara's just starting. Exactly, Mom chimed in. It's not like we're asking you to buy her a house. Not yet, I thought. I pushed my plate away. Look, I'm happy with what I'm building. That's all I wanted to share. Tara rolled her eyes and stabbed at her salad. Must be nice being the golden child when all you care about is engines and invoices. I nearly laughed. Golden child. That was rich. I stood up. Thanks for dinner. I've got an early start. Mom gave me a look like I was overreacting. Ryan, don't go. But I was already at the door. I drove home with both windows down, trying to cool off. I should have felt proud, excited. This expansion was a big step. But instead, I sat in my driveway staring at the dashboard like I'd made a mistake announcing it at all. All I wanted was a little space to celebrate something I worked for. Instead, they made me feel guilty for winning. So, I went inside, locked the door, and spent the rest of the night updating payroll projections. At least numbers made sense. I was halfway through payroll on a Thursday morning when the numbers didn't line up. At first, I thought I just entered something wrong. Maybe double-counted a vendor invoice or missed a deposit. I double-checked everything. The software showed the same result. $40,000 was missing from my main business account. Not a charge, not a check, a full wire transfer. Gone. My chest got tight. I sat there staring at the screen, heart thudding like I just got jumped. This had to be fraud. Or maybe a bank screw-up. A glitch. Something that could be reversed. I called the bank. The guy on the phone was polite. Too polite. Said the funds were transferred out 2 days ago through a secure wire. When I asked who authorized it, he paused, then read the name back to me. James Taylor. My dad. I felt like I got punched straight in the face. Turns out he was still listed on the account as a co-signer, leftover from when I was 20 and doing out-of-state mobile work and needed a backup to open my first business account. I never removed him. Stupid. Where did the money go? I asked, already knowing I wouldn't like the answer. To a firm called Sterling and Vine Events, the banker said. They're out of Napa. I Googled it before he even finished. Top-tier wedding planner. Very high-end. I checked the wire memo. It said, deposit for event package. Fall 2025. I stared at that screen like it was a joke. A wedding. Whose wedding? Not mine. That's for damn sure. I hadn't been invited to any weddings lately, definitely not one that required a $40,000 deposit. I clicked through their site. Vineyard venues, live bands, gold flatware rentals. The cheapest package was listed at $52,000. I pulled up my account activity for the past 60 days. The wire looked clean, like it belonged. No alerts, no red flags. Just $40,000 gone. I leaned back in my chair and just sat there. It felt surreal, like the numbers weren't real money, like I'd wake up in a second and laugh at how dumb the dream was. But the account balance didn't change. My investor funds were gone. Vapor. I walked out to the shop floor just to breathe. One of my guys asked me about a brake job on a Prius. I answered without thinking. Then I went back to my office, shut the door, and just stared at the computer. Wedding planner. Napa. My hands were shaking. I opened the family group chat. No messages. Nothing about a wedding. No photos. No announcements. Just a meme Tara sent 2 days ago about protecting your peace. I clicked on her Instagram. Her last post was a quote about big changes coming soon, with a picture of her holding a mason jar on a hiking trail. That was it. I got up, paced the room, sat down again. I opened the banking portal for the 5th time just to confirm I wasn't seeing it wrong. The same info loaded. Dad, wire transfer, Sterling, and Vine. I didn't even know what emotion to land on. Shock, rage, betrayal. It all hit at once. I didn't call anyone. Not yet. I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with before I exploded. I printed the statement, highlighted the transaction, circled my dad's name in red, and shoved the page into a file folder labeled Investor Funds. Then I picked up my phone and dialed. I walked straight through the shop, didn't say a word to anybody, and shut the office door behind me. I didn't sit down. I didn't think. I just dialed my dad. He picked up on the second ring, like he was waiting for it. Hey, Rye, what's up? What the hell, Dad? My voice was already shaking. You wired $40,000 out of my account without telling me. Oh, yeah, that, he said, like I caught him borrowing a wrench. Tara found a venue she loved, and it was now or never. You know how those things go. You took investor capital. I could barely breathe. That money wasn't mine to give away. It's tied to contracts. People are expecting returns. What you did could kill my expansion. He snorted. Come on, you always bounce back. You've got the shops, you've got clients. It's not like this'll break you. I'm not asking if it'll break me, I said through my teeth. I'm telling you that wasn't your money. It was theft. Don't be dramatic, he said. It's family. This is what family does. We help each other. No, you helped Tara. He went quiet for a second, then said, She's getting married. She's waited years for this. You think we were going to let her get married at a courthouse? I actually laughed. And you thought my bank account was the solution. You're in a position to give. She's not. It's that simple. You're out of your mind, I said, and I hung up. I didn't let myself cool off. I called my mom. She picked up like nothing was wrong. Hi, sweetheart. Everything okay? No, it's not. Did you know Dad pulled $40,000 from my account for Tara's wedding? Oh, she said, like I told her the dryer broke. Yes, they booked a beautiful vineyard in Napa. Isn't that exciting? Exciting, I snapped. Mom, that was not gift money. That was for business. I told you about the investor deal. That money was already spoken for. Well, don't panic, she said in that voice she used when I got too serious. It's just money. You'll figure it out. Stop saying that. It's not just money. It's my future, my company, my name on the line. You're blowing this out of proportion, she said. It's for your sister. You're acting like she's some stranger. She is when she steals from me. She sighed. Ryan, look, we didn't think it would be this big of a deal. We were trying to help her. You're always okay. You always make it work. I paced the room, rubbing the back of my neck. And that gives you the right to clean out my account. Don't make this ugly, she said. You're making it sound like we robbed you. We didn't. We just made a decision. You made a decision for me, I said, without asking, without telling, and without a second of guilt. She's your sister, Mom repeated. She needed a break. She deserves this. And what do I deserve? I said, to fund everyone's life while no one gives a damn about what I'm building. There was a long silence. Then she said, We've always supported you. You've never supported me. Not with money. Not with anything real. You just expect me to show up and fix everything. Ryan, she said, warning in her voice now, don't throw everything away over a few dollars. You're acting like this is some kind of betrayal. It is betrayal, I said. You act like my work doesn't matter, like my success is your safety net. We're family. That's what families are for. I didn't respond. I couldn't. That was the moment it hit me. They didn't even see it as wrong. Not even a little bit. In their heads, my bank account was just an extension of the family wallet. My business wasn't mine. It was ours. My achievements were a resource. My life, something they could dip into whenever it suited them. No apology, no responsibility, just expectation. I let the silence hang a few seconds longer, then said, Don't call me unless it's to return the money. She didn't say a word. I ended the call, sat down at my desk, and opened the investor folder. If no one else was going to take this seriously, I'd handle it myself. I didn't even get 24 hours before my phone lit up with Tara's name. I let it ring twice, debated ignoring it, then picked up. She didn't even say hi. Why are you making this such a big deal? You want to start with that, I said. Try thanks for accidentally funding my wedding, maybe. She huffed. It wasn't my idea. Dad made the transfer. I didn't ask him to steal from you. But you knew where the money came from. Not until after, she said. Like that cleared her. He told me he had it covered. I thought it was savings or something. You didn't think to ask where 40 grand came from out of nowhere. I was grateful, okay, she snapped. God, do you know how rare it is to get a venue like that in Napa? It was a miracle. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. It wasn't a miracle. It was my investor deal. You're celebrating a miracle I worked 10 years for. Silence. I didn't force him to do it, she said finally. If you've got a problem, take it up with Dad. I already did, I said. And Mom, you know what I got. It's just money, and you'll bounce back. Like my work is Monopoly cash. Tara made a noise halfway between a laugh and a scoff. You are always focused on money. It's like your whole personality now. I felt my jaw tighten because I've had to be. No one else covers me when things fall apart. You think I just fell into this business? You're so dramatic. I ignored that. Look, I'm not trying to ruin anything, all right? But I need that money back. It was never yours to spend. I've got deadlines, a contractor waiting, legal paperwork filed. If I miss rollout, I could get sued for breach. She was quiet again, but I could practically hear her eyes rolling. I get it, she said, voice flat. You care more about a garage than your sister's wedding. I rubbed my temples. This isn't a damn trade-off. I'm not choosing between my business and your happiness. You took what wasn't yours. That's the issue. She clicked her tongue. You're so black and white. You don't get nuance at all. Fine, I said. You want nuance? Here's some. I'll help you if the money gets returned. We set up a payment plan. You return most of it now. I'll help you with smaller stuff down the road. Fair. You want me to pay you back for my own wedding, she said, like I'd asked her to fund a war. You want to throw a wedding with my investor money? So yeah, I think it's fair. You're unbelievable, she snapped. I finally have something good in my life, and you're trying to yank it out from under me. You stole it from under me, Tara. No, Dad did, she said instantly, like she'd rehearsed that line. Take it up with him. I'm not getting involved. You're already involved. You benefited. You cashed the damn deposit. I'm not giving it back, she said. The venue's booked. Vendors are paid. Invites are printed. You want me to tell everyone the wedding's off because my brother threw a tantrum over money. That's not what I want, I said through my teeth. I want you to admit what happened. Own it. Fix it. You just want to ruin it. You've never liked when I'm in the spotlight. This is jealousy, plain and simple. I actually laughed. Jealous of what? Fake health advice and unpaid influencer gigs. She gasped. You're a jerk. And you're a thief, I said. So I guess we're even. She hung up. I stared at the screen for a few seconds, waiting to feel something. Guilt, regret, maybe even relief. But all I felt was done. Done with the excuses, done being the villain in someone else's fairy tale. I turned back to my computer, pulled up every document tied to the investor deal, and opened a fresh binder. If they weren't going to return the money, I'd take it back a different way. Next morning, just after lunch, I got the call I'd been dreading. Hey, Ryan, it's Sean, my investor said. Wanted to touch base. How's the rollout on the new shop location? We haven't seen any updates. I looked at the invoice I was holding, overdue tires for a fleet account, and felt my stomach drop. Yeah, about that, I said. There have been some delays. Timelines shifted a little. Contractor issue. What kind of issue? He asked. You're usually on the dot. Subcontractor overbooked, I lied, and permits are moving slower than expected. Got it, he said. Just keep me looped in. We're still good, right? Oh yeah, I said. We're still good. I hung up and stared at my reflection in the dark screen of my office monitor. Still good. Right. That night, I stayed late. Everyone else cleared out by 6. I stayed until midnight. I pulled every document tied to the expansion, emails, the investor agreement, transfer records, contractor bids, permit forms, everything. I printed out the bank statements and highlighted every suspicious transaction. I made tabs, dividers, labels. I wasn't just angry anymore, I was focused. By the time I zipped the binder shut, it looked like something a lawyer would bring into a courtroom. Then I picked up my phone, searched the bank's corporate headquarters number, and called. No more local branch crap. I asked for someone in senior account oversight, got patched to an assistant, told them I had a serious issue regarding a commercial account and needed to meet with someone face-to-face. Not a rep, not a call center manager, a real decision maker. The assistant pushed back a little, asked for context. I gave her just enough to get flagged. The size of the transfer, cosigner abuse, investor impact. Her tone changed real quick. She booked me a meeting for the following afternoon. Downtown San Francisco, Senior Vice President of Commercial Accounts. I left early the next day, suit on, binder in hand. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. No need. Reception sent me up to the 12th floor. Glass walls, leather chairs, silence like a courtroom. The VP's name was Martin Givens. Gray suit, silver watch, polite but sharp-eyed. Mr. Taylor, he said, shaking my hand. What can I help you with today? I opened the binder and slid it across the desk. I'm the owner of Taylor Automotive Group. Small chain, 3 shops, soon to be 4. I had a transfer pulled from my business account without consent. He started flipping through. And the cosigner listed is my father. Added when I was 20, never removed. That's on me. But this transfer wasn't authorized. 40 grand wired to a wedding planner, not business related. Martin nodded. We'll flag it and begin a misuse review. But I'm guessing there's more. There is. I reached into my inside jacket pocket and pulled out a second folder. I've been a silent investor in your holding company for 3 years. Not huge, but enough to own stock and access shareholder reports. This, I tapped the binder, is a liability for both of us. His eyes flicked up. Now I had his full attention. Understood. I need these accounts frozen, I said. Every account where that cosigner is active, immediate fraud hold. I also want account access protocol changed. No transactions over $200 without dual approval. Consider it done, he said. We'll begin an internal audit this afternoon. I stood. I appreciate your time. He shook my hand again. And I appreciate how you handled this. I walked out of that office calm. Not because it was over, because I just pulled the first thread. After I left that meeting with Martin, I didn't go home. I stopped at a diner off I-80, ordered coffee I didn't drink, and sat there with my phone face down on the table, just waiting. By 4:30, I got a confirmation email from the bank's fraud division. The freeze process had started. Joint account reviews, fraud alerts, transaction flags. It was happening. Next came the call from Martin. Direct line, no assistant. Just a heads up, he said. We pulled the transfer logs. The cosigner in question has moved funds between at least 3 accounts under your business EIN. We've escalated to our compliance team. You made the right call. I want more than a freeze, I told him. I want every account where he's listed under review. Every one, not just mine. He didn't push back. We're on it. Good, I said. And while you're at it, look at any customers connected to those accounts with big transfers or red flag purchases in the past 6 months. I want those reassessed for credit risk. He was quiet for a second. Then, you're not just protecting yourself. You're sending a message. Exactly. Martin understood what this was. I wasn't just cleaning up a mess. I was cutting the cord. That afternoon, I sat in my office and waited. I kept working like it was a normal day. Didn't say a word to my guys, didn't call anyone. Around 6:10, the first text came in. Dad, why are the accounts locked? Just tried to pay the caterer. Card declined. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, the phone rang. I picked up. Yeah. What the hell did you do? Dad's voice was already raised. All our accounts are frozen. Your mother's card got declined at the grocery store. The bank won't give us a straight answer. I told you, I said. You took money that wasn't yours. That triggered a fraud review. The bank's just doing their job. Cut the crap, Ryan. This is you. This has your fingerprints all over it. You're listed on my account. That's not my fault, that's yours. You're tearing the family apart over one mistake. One mistake. You took $40,000 and didn't even blink. We were going to pay it back. When? After the cake tasting. Or the honeymoon. He swore under his breath. You always do this. You blow things up. You think money makes you better than everyone? No, I said, but it gives me the power to decide who I let walk all over me. And I'm done. He hung up. Then came Mom. She called twice. I ignored both. Tara followed right after with a text. Is this your revenge plan? You happy? You just canceled my florist. I didn't answer that either. I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. I could feel the heat coming. I knew this wouldn't be the end of it. They'd spin it, twist it, cry about betrayal. But I also knew they couldn't undo what I just set in motion. The banks would comb through every transaction. Anything weird would get flagged. Without my deposits keeping their balances high, every overdraft would hit harder. And I hadn't even touched the investor side of it yet. But that was next. By the next morning, it was chaos. Dad called again at 7:04 a.m. No. Hello, no. How are you? Just yelling. You froze everything. My paycheck bounced. Your mother's card got declined again, and the mortgage autopay failed. Are you proud of this? I didn't flinch. It's not personal. It's standard fraud procedure. The bank is reviewing all accounts with shared access. You triggered that, not me. Don't play games with me, he snapped. This is your doing. You set this in motion. You stole money from a business account tied to outside investors. That has legal consequences. You're tearing the family apart over a misunderstanding. No, I'm holding you accountable. He hung up. Again. Mom was next, less angry, more desperate. She came at me soft. Ryan, baby, please. You don't have to do this. We're family. We're supposed to work through things. I tried working through it, I said. You told me to calm down and that it was just money. Well, now the damage is done. Can't you call the bank and stop it? No, I said, because I didn't start it. I just reported it. The rest is on them. She sniffled like she was crying. We're losing access to everything. Our retirement account is frozen. Your father's furious. That's not my fault, I said calmly. It's his signature on the transfer. Sweetheart, you don't have to punish us. We were trying to do something nice for your sister. You mean with my money without asking? She's your sister, she cried, and you're destroying the happiest time in her life. Then it came, the real storm. Tara called 3 times. I picked up on the 4th just to shut her up. You ruined my wedding. Her voice cracked right out the gate. The florist canceled. The DJ said the check bounced. We had to pull out of the caterer because Dad's card got flagged. Are you happy now? You spent money that wasn't yours. You gambled with funds that were never promised to you. She didn't hear a word. Do you have any idea how embarrassing this is? I already posted the venue online. The invites went out. People are RSVPing to a wedding that doesn't even exist anymore. That's not my problem. You made it your problem. You blew this whole thing up because you're bitter and controlling, and you can't stand to see me happy. Don't confuse happy with entitled, I said. You built your fantasy on a foundation of theft. Now you're mad the ground gave out. I hate you, she snapped. I swear to God, Ryan, I will never forgive you for this. That's fine, I said, and I hung up. They kept coming. Texts, voicemails, long emails with dramatic subject lines like, please think about what you're doing and don't do this to your family. I didn't answer a single one. By Friday, they were at the bank in person. A teller I knew from the local branch gave me a heads up. Said my parents had come in, red-faced, demanding to speak to someone higher up about a glitch that locked them out of their funds. I didn't even bother smiling. By the end of the week, the damage was piling up. Without my deposits padding the joint accounts, overdraft fees hit hard. Automatic bills failed. One of their credit lines got dropped to 0 after the bank's internal risk flag hit. Tara's wedding website got taken down. Her Instagram page went silent. She deleted the countdown she'd been posting every day. I knew they were scrambling, but I didn't feel sorry for them. For years, they treated my work like background noise. Just this thing I did that paid for their gaps and fixed their emergencies. It wasn't real to them, but now they were finally feeling what it meant to have the plug pulled. I didn't show up. I didn't explain myself. I let the system do what it was built to do. By Monday, Mom called again, not to argue this time, but to beg. Ryan, the mortgage is in default. We can't even pay the water bill. They froze the retirement savings. Everything's locked. I leaned back in my chair and stared out the office window. That's what happens when you misuse someone else's money, I said. Her voice cracked. We didn't think it would come to this. No one ever does, I said. But here we are. They showed up at my shop around 10 in the morning. No warning, no call ahead. Just walked in like it was still their house. One of my techs poked his head into the office. There's a couple out front asking for you. Says they're your parents? I already knew. I could feel it before he said it. When I walked out, they were standing there looking small. Not just smaller than I remembered, smaller than I'd ever seen them. Dad in a windbreaker, he probably hadn't washed in weeks. Mom clutching her purse like it was glued to her chest. Both of them worn out, pale and hollow under the eyes. Can we talk? Dad asked. I looked around. The shop floor was busy. My guys were working. Phones were ringing. This wasn't the time. But I wasn't dragging this out either. Come on, I said, leading them into the break room. They sat at the little metal table like kids in trouble. I didn't sit. Dad cleared his throat. The house is under foreclosure review. Our cards are all canceled. We can't get anything reactivated. I said nothing, just waited. We made a mistake, Mom said. A bad one. We know that now. Dad nodded. We didn't think it would go this far. But it did, I said flatly. He opened his hands like he was offering me air. We're not here to fight. We're here to ask what we can do, how we fix this. I finally sat down, looked both of them straight in the eye. You don't, I said. Not with me. Mom flinched like I hit her. Ryan, please, I'm done being the family wallet, I said. Done being the backup plan, the bailout, the fixer. We weren't thinking clearly, Dad said. We thought you were in a position to help and it was a family decision. No, it was a selfish decision, I said. And now you want me to undo the damage for you. But you're not owed that. You were never owed that. Mom reached across the table, trying to touch my hand. I didn't move. We're sorry, she said. Truly. We thought we were helping Tara. We didn't realize what we were doing to you. You didn't care what you were doing to me, I said. That's the truth. You didn't even ask. You assumed I'd be fine, like I always am. Dad rubbed his forehead. We're trying to take responsibility now. Good, I said, because that's all I'm offering, the chance for you to own your choices. Mom's voice cracked. We don't know what to do next. I hope you figure it out, I said, but I won't be the one pulling you out this time. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Dad looked away. Neither of them said another word. I stood. I have work to do. They stood too, slowly. Will you ever forgive us? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. I don't know, I said honestly. But I know I'm not angry anymore. Just done. They nodded, quiet, and then they left. 6 months later, I got an envelope in the mail. Cheap paper, no frills. The return label was handwritten. It was a wedding invite. Tara and her fiancé were getting married at a local rec center near Folsom. No vineyard, no caterer. Just a potluck and a dance floor. No photographers, no gold place settings, no Instagram hashtag. I stared at it for a second, then smiled without meaning to. I mailed her a small check, not even 4 figures. Along with it, I wrote, wishing you a simple, solid start. A week later, I got a thank you card in return. Actual ink, signed by both of them. Inside was a line that stuck with me. You were right. I wasn't owed anything. I'm sorry for taking what I didn't earn. She didn't ask for more. She didn't hint at needing help. I found out later through a mutual friend that she'd gotten a job at a local health food company. Nothing flashy, front desk, stocking, managing deliveries. She took herself off social media, deleted the blog. For the first time in years, she was working, really working. My parents sold the house and moved into a 2-bedroom condo near Elk Grove. Less square footage, smaller bills. They didn't call to announce it. They just did it. No begging, no updates, no guilt. And me. I bought 2 more shop locations, one in Roseville, one in Vacaville. Hired 8 new techs. Launched a hybrid diagnostics division. The investor stayed in, said I handled things better than most executives he'd backed. One afternoon in June, I got an email from Tara. Subject line, feedback request, not funding. Attached was a basic business plan for a small wellness coaching project, just part-time. Low cost, local clients only. She wanted my thoughts, nothing more. I opened the doc, scanned through it, then spent my lunch break writing notes in the margins. What to adjust, what to scrap, what to actually build on. Then I sent it back. No lecture, no passive-aggressive comments. Just support, the kind she should have had all along. Because this time, she wasn't asking me to carry her. She was asking how to walk.